Hey there everybody, Tribal Butterflies back again. This time coming at you with a much awaited video. I know you guys are happy to finally see this one. The newest episode of The Tribal Butterfly's Tips on Cosplay. So today's episode is actually a very important one, and it's one that I've been looking forward to doing for a very long time, and I think you guys are going to find it extremely helpful. I think you remember, if you've seen my past cosplay tutorial videos, that I talked about choosing the right pattern. And for those of you who didn't even know what a pattern was, this is a pattern, okay? It's a little package that has inside what I told you guys was the blueprints of making your costume. By the time you're finished watching this video, you're going to know exactly why I called it the blueprint. So this pattern that we're using today is one of the simplicity patterns. Simplicity is really, really good with patterns. They make things that are extremely easy to use, easy to follow, really simple, and they have tons and tons of variety. So simplicity is one of my favorite patterns to go with. So if you find a simplicity pattern that looks like what you need, get it, because they're really good. This specific pattern is Simplicity Code 4080, that's 4080, and it's actually a kimono pattern, and it's a very cool one. It's got two different styles of kimono. It's got one with the shorter sleeve, one with the longer sleeve. It actually gives you instructions on how to make two different varieties of obi. One of them is the, you'll have to excuse my pronunciation, Mayako geisha, which is the apprentice geisha obi, the longer one. And the other one is just one of the variations of a full-fledged geisha obi. In this case, it's the bow. It also shows you how to make just a geisha style top. So this is actually a really, really cool pattern. If you guys can find it, pick it up. One thing that you may want to keep in mind when you are purchasing your pattern, okay, 99% of the time these things are no exchanges, no refunds. So when you pick up a pattern, make sure that you get the one you want and the size you want, because it will tell you the sizes right near the code, and it's got a size range. In this case, it's 6, 8, 10, and 12. You want to make sure that you're somewhere in that range, because you will not be able, most likely you will not be able, they even stamp them, no refunds and no returns. So make sure you pick up the right one for you. The good thing about patterns are they are usually cheap, and they're usually on sale a lot of the time. So you should be able to find what you want for relatively inexpensive. Now, if you want to make sure that your pattern is actually the right size for you, if you turn to the back, it'll actually show you all the different variations of what you can make in your pattern, and then it'll give you all these lists of measurements, and it'll like tell you, okay, if your bust width is this much, then this is what size you need. It'll also tell you for your specific size how much material you need to buy. So in this case, if I was to make a kimono A, and I am, actually it is 36, so okay, so I'm going to need 5.5 meters of fabric to do this cosplay. Anything less than 5.5 or more, I'm having too much or too little. So these are really good. They tell you a lot of information. These are great. You should always try to work off a pattern if you can, because drafting your own patterns, and I've actually done pattern drafting in class, and I'm pretty good at it, but it's tricky, and if you want something to fit absolutely right, they've already done all the work for you. You don't have to draft anything yourself, and it's really easy to deviate from the pattern to make it exactly what you want to do. So I really, really, really suggest picking up a pattern if you ever can. So this is the pattern that I got. As you can see, Simplicity, the code 4060, and right here there are all the size ranges. Here's what I was telling you about before. It lists all the different variations of the costume you can do. It gives you the measurements so that you know what size you are, and it gives you over here the amount of fabric you will need in order to make this particular garment. Okay, it also gives you information like what materials work best and things like that. So these things are really, really helpful. Okay, I always suggest picking these up if you can. This might actually be a two-piece. Yeah, this is going to be a two-piece video because there's just no way. There's no way I can tell you everything about patterns in 10 minutes. So I'm sorry you guys, it's going to be part 1 of 2, probably 2. Okay, so that was already like a handful of minutes, and all I told you guys about is the outside of the pattern, okay? The inside comes with a lot of goodness, okay? You will find when you open your pattern 2 different kinds of paper. You will find these huge ones that are folded up, and it's almost like tissue paper. They're extremely thin, so be careful with these. They rip super easy. Usually you'll find 1 or 2 of these, and then you'll find at least 1 or 2 of these. These are more regular newsprint kind of paper, and when you unfold those, it will give you pictures of basically all the different arrangements that you can make. That's the little top. This is the short sleeved sleeve. This is the long sleeved sleeve. So it'll show you everything that you're able to make out of this pattern. Here it shows you a little breakdown of what every piece that's in the pattern will look like, and it will have them all numbered, and the numbers coincide with this list. So for example, piece 1, okay, if you look on the list, it says front, okay, so this is the front of the kimono, okay, so it tells you what every piece is, okay. Next on the list, you will find general directions. It tells you what all the symbols mean, okay, because you're gonna find on those pattern pieces, you're gonna find a buttload of symbols, okay? And they may be pretty hard to understand. So I'm gonna go through with you today what they mean, but if you ever forget, they're always right here, okay? So you can always refer back to this if you're stuck and you need help and you forget. Or you can just go back to my videos, whatever's easier for you, okay? They will also show you different ways or suggestions that you can place your pattern pieces on your fabric so that you don't lose any valuable fabric space, okay? And that's basically what all of this is, okay? Different ways you can put your pattern pieces on your fabric depending on how much fabric you have, how wide your fabric is, and what you're making from the pattern. Are you doing kimono B? Are you doing kimono A? Are you doing something totally different? So these are really, really helpful pieces of paper, okay? You're probably going to look at these tons. On the other side of the paper, it'll actually give you sewing directions, okay? It'll actually show you step by step by step everything you need to do to make that piece, okay? So you've got here like a sleeve, you've got like your kimono front and back. It shows you in picture and written instructions exactly what you need to do. So these things are really, really helpful, you guys. So that's why I'm always telling you, get patterns because they really help you out, okay? So that's these pieces of paper. The other one is basically just a continuation on instructions. The other sheet of paper that comes with it, okay, that was the first one, this is the second one, is basically just a continuation of the instructions, okay? So if they didn't fit it all on there, it continues on over here, okay? So these 2 pieces of paper, super helpful. Okay, so it looks like this is gonna have to be a 2-parter at least. Sorry guys. There's just a lot to cover with patterns, and they are really important, as I'm sure you guys have seen so far, and you're going to see even more in as this video progresses. So please go to part 2 now, and let's continue learning about patterns.